Bonjour, bienvenue, and welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk about the Louvre. I gotta be honest, there's so many videos about the Louvre and so many bloggers that release videos like weekly about the Louvre. I didn't really know that I was going to do this video, and I almost didn't do this video. But I thought about it, and I want to give you guys my tips, tricks to help your visit go more smoothly. Make sure you see everything that you should see, even the stuff that's maybe not so obvious. And kind of give you a layout of the Louvre so that when you go, you can maximize your time and avoid walking in circles. Because I'm going to tell you, it's very easy to walk in circles. So let's get into it. The Louvre. What can I say about the Louvre that hasn't been said 1,000 times by 1,000 other people? I honestly didn't make this video, like I said in the intro, because last week I looked and there's some like 10 or 12 travel vloggers posted YouTube videos about the Louvre. And so I couldn't figure out exactly how I want to deliver this content to you in a way that would be meaningful and add value and say something that they hadn't already said. So what I'm going to do is what I usually do. I'm going to give you the kind of walkthrough and play for you video of the inside of the Louvre so you can see what to expect and talk you through the Louvre as we go, give you my thoughts about how to plan your visit to maximize the most efficient way possible so you see the maximum amount of stuff and kind of drive value for your time, right? So let's get into it. The Louvre is an amazing museum. Let's talk about a few facts. I'm showing you the outside now because I need you to understand all of those buildings are the Louvre. It is that big. When I say it's big, the Louvre is 8 miles. If you were to lay the galleries out, they are 8 miles. The Louvre is the most visited museum in the world. Take that in. Almost 9 million people visited the Louvre last year. That's an astronomical number if you think about it, right? Almost 9 million people. So I'm showing you the inside of the pyramid, right? The way the Louvre is organized is into 3 different wings. The Richelieu, the Sully, and the Denon. The famous artwork that you're most familiar with is in the Denon. The Richelieu has the oldest. And so there are approximately 35,000 pieces in the Louvre. I have a strategy of how I think you should do it, but if you were to take 30 seconds to look at each one of those pieces, it would take you 6 weeks. And that's with 30 seconds. You're not going to spend 30 seconds looking at the Venus del Milo. You're certainly not going to spend 30 seconds looking at the Mona Lisa because it's going to take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes just to get there to see it. Once you get into the room it's in because of all the crowds. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how I would do the Louvre. The first thing I would do is I would get the audio guide. The audio guide for the Louvre is absolutely important because it's a Nintendo Switch. It's really cool. And it will give you a map. So it has your map. It has everything in it. It has guides for every room. But it also has tours. And the first thing I would do is I would do the audio guide masterpiece tour. And I know that's kind of putting the major stuff up front, right? But according to the audio guide, that tour takes an hour and a half. I'm going to tell you I think it takes 2. Because, for a couple of reasons. One, the audio guide's not perfect. It does malfunction. It doesn't know sometimes what room you're in. It gets confused. You can't backtrack. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's overall amazing. And so I think it's going to take you 2 hours. That will take you to the Venus de Milo. It will take you to many pieces, Mona Lisa, all of that. It will hit the masterpiece tour. It will give you the commentary you need to have a very basic understanding of the Louvre's collection. But understand the Louvre and understand the layout. So I would do that. And then if you have time, if like I did, you've got one of 3 strategies, right? You do the audio guide tour, or 4 strategies really. You can go oldest to newest, right? And the way to do that is you start in the Richelieu and you work your way through. Understand that the Louvre has 3 wings and that because it used to be a fortress, yes, they are all connected, but they're not always all connected in a logical and meaningful way because would you want your fortress always logically connected or would you want the enemy, if they penetrate, to have to think about it for a hot minute? That's kind of how the Louvre's laid out, right? Because it used to be a fortress. And so you can start in the Richelieu, and you are quickly working your way into the Sully, which will take you to one of my favorite parts, the Egyptian and the Greek artifacts, which I'm showing you now. I believe the Louvre has the largest collection of Egyptian artifacts outside of Egypt. It was amazing. I had actually started a podcast on, not knowing this, the night before I went, on the pharaohs and the fall of the final Egyptian kingdom, right? And the history of that. And it was like a 4-hour podcast. And so it was really amazing to then see all of the hieroglyphics and the statues, etc. at the Louvre. One of my favorite pieces that I'm showing you now is actually on the audio guide tour. And it was in the Islamic art section, which had this piece is cool because it's carved out of a single tusk of elephant tusk, which apparently was an engineering marvel at the time. And nobody knows for sure what all the carvings mean. So it's a really just intricately done piece. I mean, I could stand there and stare at this piece for like 5 minutes if I really wanted to. And so you do get to see some of the not so obvious pieces, but the masterpiece tour that you're going to get from the audio guide is just that. It is the bare bones. I'm rushing you through this to show you what the tourists mostly want to see, right? The other option, right, is to do it more organically and to go oldest, newest, go through the Egyptian artifacts, go through the Greco artifacts, go into the art, start with the older art. Is the Louvre a history museum? Is it an art museum? I don't know. It's kind of all of the above. That's what makes it so amazing. I think that that's a great way to do it because then you can kind of get lost. And that's option 3, is you can just go and get lost. I don't recommend that option. I started with that option and it was not a good idea because I got really lost. And it's very easy to get really lost in the Louvre. So one thing, I found was that I loved the sculptures. I thought the sculptures were absolutely amazing. I'm showing you some of my favorites as we go through. And I thought the Venus de Milo was beautiful, which I'm showing you now. It is obviously, it gets a lot of attention, but people tend to move on from it quickly. But honestly, in my opinion, there were better and more meaningful sculptures. I particularly like this piece, and I liked this particular piece because it is a transgender person, and it's old. And so I thought it was interesting that they gave the figurine both male and female characteristics. I thought that was really cool. I liked Diane the Hunter. There were just a lot of pieces I liked. I liked the Kiss of Cupid, and I don't remember the actual name of the sculpture. I wish I did. But all of those were absolutely amazing. And I'm also going to show you some of the galleries are just not that crowded. And that's really cool because you can take all the galleries in. So my strategy for visiting Louvre is completely dependent on how much time you have. So option 1, do the quick down dirty audio guide. That is option 1. It'll take you an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think 2. Audio guide says 1.5, but 2. And that's not including getting in. So a lot, 15, 20 minutes to get in, 15, 20 minutes to get out, 15, 20 minutes to get your audio guide. You're looking at three hours, right? 2.5, 3 hours. Option 2, the bare bones rapid. You're basically all but sprinting through the Louvre to see, quote, everything, is about 3 hours, and you can work chronologically, and you can kind of mosey and wonder. Each room in the audio guide has a room guide, so you can listen to that and kind of figure out, is this a place I'm stopping or is this a place I'm moving on? And you can work chronologically. Option 3 is get lost. Literally, just get lost. And you will get lost because you're going to be walking in circles. I don't particularly recommend that option, but if you have the entire day to kill, maybe, because you'll end up in some neat places and you'll end up going, what's that? And you'll listen to the eye and go, oh, that's cool. But you'll miss a lot of the cool stuff because one thing about the Louvre is there's so much cool stuff that the cool stuff isn't labeled cool stuff, right? I mean, sure, the Mona Lisa is labeled cool stuff. The Venus de Milo is labeled cool stuff. And the Da Vinci, if you listen to the audio guide, the other works Da Vinci are labeled in the audio guide. Speaking of this, I'm showing you the Mona Lisa, and I'm showing you, more importantly, the crowd to get to the Mona Lisa. So let's knock this out. You're going to see the Mona Lisa. You're going to get about 3 seconds. You're going to push your way in, and you're not going to get to study it. There are multiple other works by Da Vinci in the Grand Salon leading up to the Mona Lisa. Take your time with those because they're frankly so much better, and you're not having to fight for it. So, my top tips for visiting the Louvre. Number 1, have a plan. It's very important that you go in knowing what strategy you're going to pursue. The audio guide will let you create your own masterpiece trail. You'd have to program it in, but it would route you the most efficient way, theoretically. Now, again, it says it does it. I hope I didn't test it. But if you know these are the 10 masterpieces I care about, or 20 masterpieces I care about, you could theoretically program them into the audio guide because it'll give you a list and you can pick it and you can figure it out from there. So, have a plan. Whatever that plan is, pursue one of my plans that I outlined above. Pursue your own plan, but have a plan. Know the map. The map is very important, and we'll get back to that in a second because it all ties back to the map. There are many entrances to the Louvre. Know which entrance you're going to go in. Sounds funny, but it can make a huge difference. There are people on the web who will tell you this entrance is best, this entrance is best, and everybody has a different opinion. I went through the pyramids, which is the worst entrance to go through in terms of crowds. But I also went at 9:30 in the morning and it wasn't that crowded, and I wanted to go in through the pyramids because the 2 other times I've been to the Louvre, I did not get to go through the pyramids. So this time I was whiskey bit and hell bound to go through the pyramids, and I did. And did it cost me 10-15 minutes of my life? Sure. Did I stand in line next to some really nice and lovely people who I had a lovely chat with? Absolutely. Was it worth it? Absolutely. But it was for me. If you've got a week in Paris, it's probably not worth it. One of my favorite entrances is probably the one off of Metro Line 1. You actually don't get off the Louvre station. You get off the Palais Royal Louvre station. Because there's 2 Louvre stations, Louvre and then Palais Royal Louvre. Do the Palais Royal, get off in the mall, walk through the mall, and you're in the Louvre. The audio guide is awesome. Speaking of which, by the way, before we move on that, I think morning and late afternoon are your times to go. That is kind of critical. Go when it is least crowded. During the day, it is absolutely a madhouse because the Louvre gets close to 9 million visitors a year. Do the math in your head of how many people that means come through a day. A lot. The audio guide is awesome. That having been said, this is very important. Get your audio guide online. I cannot emphasize that enough. At the Louvre, if you do not get your audio guide online and have your tickets with you for that audio guide, you've got to go down back to the billetterie, the ticket office, and you have to buy a ticket to then stand in line to get the audio guide. So you may end up standing in multiple lines just to procure the audio guide. And if you're like me and fairly impatient, that is going to annoy you to no end. So, get the audio guide online. You'll thank me later. Speaking of lines, yes, that long line is you to get in. I would say the cafe, people dog the food at the Louvre. They say the cafe is not good. I actually enjoyed it. I ate lunch there. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought the baguette was good. I just had a baguette and some chips and a Coke Zero. But what I really enjoyed was kind of people watching, right? Because you're seeing people from all over the world, all different cultures, all different whatever, and it's kind of nice to sit there and watch people. I know that sounds funny, but I enjoyed it. And so I enjoyed having my lunch in the crowded corridor of the pyramid. So I can't emphasize this enough. Know the map. Know that you have 3 wings. Know that they have multiple floors. Know that it may be better to go forward to go backwards, or up to go down, or across to go back. All of those things, right? Know that if you have a rough, you don't need to memorize the map, but you can get the map for free, and before you do anything, before you take step 1 outside the main pyramid to go to any of the 3 wings, just take 2 seconds to open that map and see how the Louvre is laid out, because it will give you a much better understanding. It will maximize your time because it's very easy to get lost. And remember, 8 miles of corridor that were not designed to be a museum, they were designed to be a fortress. How confusing do you think that is if you go in and you haven't looked at the map? I did not look at the map. I was an idiot. I'm telling you to not do what I did, right? So those are my top takeaways for the Louvre. I think that you will enjoy your visit, but have a plan, know what entrance you're going into, book the audio guide online, pick a morning or evening time or afternoon time, right? Don't try not to go to the Oh, one other thing, you can scan in and out as many times as you want. And that's important because sometimes it's better to go back through the central pyramid to get to another point, even though they may be in the same wing. I know that sounds weird, but just trust me, it works. So know that you can scan your ticket as many times as you want that day. Don't be afraid to walk in and out if that's the most efficient way. And maybe enjoy some people watching. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe button and join the conversation. Please feel free to leave any comments, questions, or snide remarks in the comments. Thank you and take care.